What is neural energetic encoding? A lot of people ask, what is neural energetic encoding? How can I use it to move forward in my life? How can I use it for wealth, abundance, getting opportunities, relationships? And the beautiful thing is neural energetic encoding can work in so many ways because it works on a subconscious level, and our subconscious drives the majority of our life. So I'm so excited for us to dive into exactly how it works, the science behind the neural energetic encoding technique, and how our coaches and students are using it at Yes Supply. And with me, I also have Jess from our team. She's trained hundreds of students in our methods, and we're just gonna chat back and forth of some ways that it's empowered us in our life, how it's helping our students, and how it actually works. Now, a big reason why this is one of my favorite techniques, neural energetic encoding is one of my favorite techniques, and a lot of our students say neural energetic encoding is one of their favorite techniques.
Yes.
It aligns so much with our why here at Yes Supply, because at Yes Supply, we want to help people say yes to themselves and yes to their dream life. Life is so precious, and it's June as we're filming this. We know it moves through it, like life can move so fast. And so when we have an idea, when we have a hope, when we have a wish, when we have a dream, the longer we spend time doubting and saying, oh, well, last time I failed, or when I was a kid, this happened to me, the more we spend our time telling ourselves no, the more we're not making the most of this beautiful life that we have. So neural energetic encoding is so powerful because even if we've gone through trauma, even if we've had obstacles that we've faced in the past, even if we've had hardship in our past, neural energetic encoding can help us go back and release those emotions that are holding us back on a deep subconscious level, and even help us release generational patterns, generational trauma, generational curses from our great grandparents or from past lives, so we can move forward in an entirely new empowered state. And what it can also do for us is if we have a negative idea of how the future is going to be, maybe we have a fear of failure that things are going to go wrong, or failure that everything that we've created is going to be taken away from us. What we can do is use neural energetic encoding to go out to the future to actually paint a new dream, a new idea of how our future can look. And when we have that empowering idea of how our future can be, it actually helps us act in alignment with it and create our future. So we're gonna dive deep into the science behind it, how it works, how it's helped us, and how you can use it in your own life. So I will say hello, Jess, and thanks so much for being here with me today.
It's a pleasure being here with you today, because I think you know how much I love talking about these techniques, what they've done in my life, for all of my clients, for all of our students. So I'm thrilled to be talking about it today, just in the way that we do. Should we break it down a little bit as to like what it exactly is in regards to the process?
Yeah, absolutely. If someone's asking what is neural energetic encoding, to explain it, our subconscious mind keeps an entire record of our past. So even if you can't consciously remember what you had for breakfast yesterday, which now I'm saying, I'm like, what did I have for breakfast yesterday? I don't know. Consciously, we can't remember what we had for breakfast yesterday, but our subconscious mind has an entire record. So your subconscious mind remembers how you felt when you were in your mother's womb. Your subconscious mind remembers the jumper you were wearing at your first birthday party and the color of your cake. It remembers how you felt when you did your first show and tell. It remembers how you reacted when you reached up for your mom to pick you up and she was too busy and couldn't. And all of these different memories deep in our subconscious form who we are, or who we think we are. So let's say there was a number of times where you reached up for your mom, but she was just so busy. Maybe she had 7 other kids, she couldn't pick you up. That might have formed an idea or a fear of, I'm gonna be rejected, that now as an adult, that person might be playing out. Or maybe this person has the potential to be an amazing presenter and an amazing public speaker, but at their very first show and tell in grade 1, when they showed their Barbie, the other kids laughed, and now that person thinks, I'm not a great public speaker, even though that happened when they were 6 and now they're 36, right?
Right.
And so it's so powerful because all of these subconscious memories are forming our identity, but they're not truly based on truth. They're based on how we interpreted it with our child's mind when our prefrontal cortex wasn't even fully formed. And so all of these subconscious memories are formed, they're called gestalts. And so what we can do with neural energetic encoding is we can go back and now with the conscientiousness of an adult and say, okay, just because the kids laughed at you when you were 4, it doesn't mean that people are going to laugh at you now. You've developed a lot of skills since then and you have a lot of potential now. So I think you can do it. And you release it and you're like, oh, I can do a live stream. I can do public speaking. I can stand on that stage. Or maybe you go back to that root cause and you say, okay, it's not that my mom didn't love me. My mom was doing the best that she could. And so even though she couldn't pick me up when I was 2, I am loved and I am accepted and I am important. And you can believe that and feel like that now as an adult. And with that feeling of I'm loved and I'm accepted and I'm important now as an adult, now you have the confidence to go after the job or ask for the raise or sell your offer or go on that date that you've been wanting to go on with that guy. And so it's so important for us to look at these things that have happened in the past. And actually, I should say, we don't have to look at the things that have happened in the past because we can actually release the emotion without having to relive the event. But it's important for us to look at the emotions that are holding us back because this is a powerful technique that we can use to release it. So if you know you have unlimited potential to make more money or grow the business of your dreams or have the relationship you want or have the health that you want, but you have that little thought in your head that's like, well, what if I'm rejected? What if I'm not good enough? I'm too frustrated. I'm too angry. I'm too guilt-filled. I'm too shame-filled. Neural energetic encoding will help you go back to the root cause, release that so you can feel more empowered now. And we've had students have results in all areas of life with this technique, from people finding their soulmate days after releasing guilt or shame, people manifesting money, people finally starting the business that they've been thinking of for years, people releasing using food to numb because they're releasing that emotion and now having a better relationship with food, releasing overeating or over snacking, or in their words, binging. So it can be helpful in all areas of life because all areas of our life are controlled by our emotions. And so it puts the control of the emotions back in our hands.
Absolutely. I love the way you explain that. I think when we teach it, we kind of teach it in a few different sections in our cohorts, as you know. So just for anyone listening, you learn about encoding, the science behind it and how to do it. And then you learn how to release emotions, how to release limiting beliefs and decisions. And that's like such an interesting module. And then you also learn how to go out in future events and work to put goals in the future. But the reason I brought that up is because when we're looking at the root cause of things, oftentimes, I don't know if you agree, Reese, but I see people like they think they know when it was created. They're like, I feel like this because of this event. But actually, it's oftentimes something much earlier. You know, like you mentioned, when that prefrontal cortex is still developing, when we're in our subconscious state, 0 to 7, or even before that, right? Like in the womb, as you mentioned, generationally with epigenetics, like we can see things that are passed down. And I always use the example when I'm teaching of like my son, he's 3.5 now, but he, you know, when he was 2, I would say, you know, he just felt anger in the kitchen because I didn't chop his mango up properly.
Yeah.
Like he definitely felt anger, and then there may be some more significant events in his future that will make anger a negative or dysregulating emotion for him that he can release, but it's probably not the first time he felt it. So it's very interesting when we teach it to look at the power of our brains and how, like you said, we are actually storing everything, and logic's going to try and get us out of it, but logic is never going to work. That's why you need neural energetic encoding, because you can't logic your way out of subconscious blocks.
Yeah, and this has been studied in many different species. It hasn't been studied in humans because, you know, to study generations, and the scientists would have to be doing hundreds of years of this study. So it hasn't been studied. But in, I believe it was in mice or rats, what happened was they would put something in a cage that would hurt the rat, maybe like an electric shock or something like that. And what they found was that mice or that rat's offspring would then be afraid to go to that corner of the cage, even though they didn't feel the shock themselves. So what that showed was somewhere in the DNA, in the energetic memory or the cellular memory, the offspring was remembering a pain that the parent or the grandparent had. And I think in some species this was even passed down through 13 generations. And so what this could suggest is that your money problem might not even be from your childhood. It might be from your great grandparent, or your fear in relationships might be from your great aunt, or your health, like issue that you're having with health, holding on to weight, could be from your great grandpa. And so it's really good to look at like what memories, what fears, what doubts, what pains am I holding on to generationally. And it's so beautiful because once we understand how this works, now we have the power to break generational patterns.
Yes, absolutely. And I wish we could just list all of the breakthroughs we've seen. Our students have, like, we've seen so many beautiful personal breakthroughs. I think that's one of the amazing things about going through the Yes Apply method, is that not only are you learning these tools to do with your clients, but you're having them done on you by your fellow students. And we see so many of these root causes be released, and then our students just fly in the area of life they want to after.
One big story that comes to mind is our client Desiree, who we have an interview with her on our YouTube channel. And she had been struggling to get pregnant for 8 years. And through the process, through the neural energetic wiring process that she learned in our cohort, and then using neural energetic encoding, she released fear of giving birth, or she released fear of having a baby. And this root of this fear actually stemmed from when she was a little baby, a fetus in her mother's womb. She felt the fear that her mother was feeling, and she held on to that all through her life. And she believes that was the thing that was stopping her from actually getting pregnant. And so a few months after she graduated from our cohort, after she did neural energetic wiring, the fear of having a baby or fear of having pregnant, she got pregnant. And I tear up when I see her. We have each other on Facebook, and I see this beautiful human that's here. And yeah, she says, she changed her health too. She focused on healthy eating, and she did the medical medium health.
Wow. Yeah.
So, health obviously plays a big part. We want to be healthy for our babies too, but she shared with us that she really believes it was releasing that fear that she held for so many years. So I have chills just
me too. Me too, and it makes me a little bit emotional thinking of like how long we carry stuff, and we don't have to. Like, if everyone knew this work, like, we don't have to be carrying around these blocks. And that's why I want everybody to listen to this or send it to someone they know, because first step is that you don't even know this exists. So we just need more people to even know about this, because why aren't we taught it at school? We would all be living our yes life if we could let go of this stuff. So it's so powerful. It really is. I do have another question. So in regards to when we teach about emotions, can you talk about like the top emotions that we release using this technique and why?
Yeah, so we can use NEE for any emotion that we're feeling, but some of the top emotions that we use with it are like kind of like the primary emotions, because the other emotions stem from this. So if someone's feeling frustration or jealousy, the root of that is anger. So we focus on releasing the anger, because then the ripple effect is releasing the frustration or the jealousy as well. Sadness is another big one that we focus on, because that can stem into apathy, that can stem into, kind of giving up before you start, because you're feeling that sadness or that forlorn. So we release sadness, anger, sadness, fear, because fear can show up in doubting yourself, second guessing yourself, overthinking, over planning, perfectionism. We're doing these days and days and days and days of overthinking and over planning, because really we're just fearful that it's not going to work out. So when you release that, then you can tune back into your intuition, into your creativity, and into just going back into creator mode and being in flow. And there's so much research about how powerful being in that flow state, being in that alpha state, can connect us to our creativity and our innovation. So we release fear, anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, and shame. Those are the big ones that we focus on. And then if anybody has some feelings resonating from that, then we can go into it. And so at Yes Apply, we love the science. So we had an amazing neuropsychologist work with us on our team for about 5 years, helping us do research on these techniques. So 85% of the participants we had in one of our studies felt anger and fear dissipate after one NEE session. So like, imagine you're feeling fear, you're feeling anger, you're doubting yourself, you're not going after what you want, and then you can just sit down for one session and you have an 85% chance of that being released in one session.
Wow. Yeah.
7% of our participants reported that they felt guilt dissipate after one NEE session.
Wow.
60% of our participants reported that they felt sadness dissipate after one NEE session. And 55% of participants reported that they felt hurt dissipate after one EE session. And of course, you know, if someone's working with a coach, you're not just doing this once and then never doing it again. You can do it more times and you can feel those impacts even stronger. So this is such a powerful tool because a lot of the times people think that their emotions are out of their control.
Yes.
The sadness that's holding them back, or the lack of motivation to do the things that they want to do, when actually it can be entirely in your control when you actually know the language of the subconscious mind and you can work through that. And so we teach our coaches how to do this in our certification. But then if you're watching this and you're not aspiring to be a coach or you don't currently have a coach, we also give you the process to do this inside the app. So you can literally close your eyes, put your headphones in, and just walk yourself through releasing any deep emotion that is holding you back.
So powerful. And I think one thing that's really important to remember, whether you're on the app or doing the Yes Apply method as a coach, is what makes it all the more powerful is that we teach this as a part of the method. So you can help someone release anger with one NEE session, but you're also going to use probably some of the other techniques out of all the techniques you learn here, or some of the language patterns, or the EFT, or all of these other things. So it is by far, in my opinion, one of the best ways to assure there's a transformation for your client, because you're working at all the layers, and starting with encoding, which is, you know, such a deep layer that it's so deep we're largely unaware of it.
Yeah, I'm just reviewing the science, the research too, and worry had a success rate of release of 96%.
Wow.
So imagine a life without worry, right? And then they did a follow-up over 6 weeks, and majority of these effects were maintained for 6 weeks.
Wow. And sometimes it sounds too good to be true. And that's where we go back to, you can't logic your way out of this. Our brain is like, as you and I are talking right now, like our heart is beating, we're breathing with our lungs, like so many things are going on in our body. And as someone is watching this right now, listening to us talking about encoding, they're taking in so much other information that their brain is filtering. So it feels like so good, too good to be true, but actually we are so capable. And this is a way to access those blocks and release them instantly. Like, it's changed my life for sure.
I think we really dived into how neural energetic encoding can help release emotions of the past, and that's one of the biggest ways that we use it. But also, it's just as powerful to use it to reprogram your beliefs about your future and prime your subconscious mind to take those actions or make those shifts to achieve the future that you want. And I've had so many people say, I did the NEE for the future, I put the date down for my goal, I totally forgot that we did it, and then it happened, and I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the exact date or the exact week or the exact month that I wrote down. And so that's just how powerful our subconscious mind is and how much it wants to serve us, right? We put the date, we use the technique to prime the subconscious mind for that goal. And then we live our life, we take inspired action, and it's so beautiful how things can come together.
100%. It's so beautiful. So if anyone has any questions or wants to learn this so that you can use with your clients, or wants to join the Yes It's Yours app, we have a beautiful community in there, then make sure you message us and we will send you all the information. And I can't wait for this to change your life like it has ours.
Amazing. Thanks, Jess.
Bye.